welcome to another episode of What's the Topic. I'm your host, as always, Matt, better known as Jasper Reviews. And with me finally this week is Luke.
How's it going, guys? Glad to be back.
Yes. So I think we'll do a little bit of a shorter episode. So I'm thinking, let's get these episodes more focused on, sort of topics and obviously the more overarching topic. So I think we'll talk about Wandavision episode 4 quite a bit, and I want to talk a lot about Godzilla Vs Kong because I wanted to make a video on that, but I couldn't do it myself, so I thought, why not just get me and Luke talking loads, and that way he gives me the free content that I need.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But all right, this is the only little bit of news I put in before we just basically go, head on into it. Did you see Sndyer Cut got a release date?
Yeah, man, the day after my birthday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So 18th of March?
Yes, that's it, yeah.
So 18th of March, come to HBO Max. There's no word on the UK release yet, but it's likely heading to Sky Cinema.
I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah. We better be able to watch this when the US gets to watch it. It will be so unfair if they can see it before us.
Well, yeah, so I was going to purchase a VPN. I'm probably going to hold off on it now. But yeah, hopefully it comes. I wonder how much they'll charge for this though. If it's on Sky Cinema.
What do they usually charge? About a tenner?
What? Nah, more. Because I was trying to watch Wonder Woman 84 the other day. 16 quid.
That's ridiculous.
I thought, yeah, for a film that I'm not overly interested in. Yeah, it's got poor reviews. If people were saying it was great, then yeah, I'd pay for it. But yeah, I'll fork out 16 quid for Sndyer Cut though.
4 hours of gold.
Yeah, that's the only thing though, because the Sky Cinema will make you gotta watch it within 2 days, and I can't sit there for 4 hours. I need 2 days to get through it.
I've already set it all up. I already know what I'm going to do, because I was originally going to take my birthday off work, but now I'm going to take the 18th off work, and I'm going to set the whole thing up. Like, I'm buzzing for it.
What day of the week is the 18th of March? Let's have a look.
I think it's a Thursday.
18th of March.
Because I've already thought about what clients I'm going to have to let down. I'm already planning letting everyone down. Like.
Oh my god, yeah. Let's have a look. 18th of March is a Thursday, so that's a normal cinema date release.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I'm excited for this to finally happen. I wonder, we must be getting a trailer very soon then.
Got to be. And none of this hallelujah crap anymore. I want to see a proper gritty trailer. It's about time.
Oh god, all the pictures that are coming out of this are just black and white. And I'm worried. And it's going to be rated R as well.
Is it? Oh wow.
Yeah, this is it's all bullshit in my opinion.
Oh, I love it.
I hate it. He would have released an R-rated Justice League, would he?
No, of course not. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Just let him do whatever he wants to do. Let him do it. I told you that I watched Watchmen for the second time, but in ages, about a month ago, and I love the gritty R-ratedness of that. I think I really, really enjoy it.
I have a strange relationship with Watchmen. Some days I watch it and I love it. Some days I watch it and I absolutely loathe it. It's a weird film. And it's funny, that film like makes a load of top 10s of like best superhero films, and then loads of like worst superheroes ever made, films ever made. Yeah, so it's an odd one. Yeah, it's like
Sndyer is so divisive, isn't he? Some people like Man of Steel. People back that to the moon, like they say it's incredible. Other people think it's awful. Like,
yeah, Man of Steel is probably one of these more middling films, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably Batman vs Superman is one of his more universally hated films.
Not sure about that.
Yes, it's crap. I hate it so much.
I'm going to rewatch that on the Wednesday and then watch Justice League on the Thursday.
Maybe we should just watch Man of Steel, Batman, Batman vs. Then the original Justice League.
Naturally.
Then
yeah.
I'm excited for this to just finally finish because I can't be bothered with it anymore.
Absolutely.
I'm just like the light is at the end of the tunnel.
Well, you say that guaranteed. We've said this before, or can almost guarantee you that if this does well and it gets lots of views and lots of purchases, he will be doing more stuff with Warner Brothers, hands down.
Do you think he'll be doing more? Do you really think he'll do more? I don't think he will.
I don't know. I think there's a possibility. I think there's a possibility he could sign a deal with HBO or something. I really do. I really do.
Maybe. I don't know.
They've already said, haven't they? DC have already made it very clear that there's going to be all these multiverses going on. There's going to be a Batman here, a Batman there, a Batman somewhere else. I don't see
Batman everywhere.
It's true though, isn't it? But I don't see any reason why if this doesn't do really, really well, I reckon why not? It's all about making money at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. But how do they? The problem with this is how do they judge the money they've made? So how do they know that someone signed up for HBO Max is signing up? I know they can look into it and say, well, we expected this amount for HBO Max, instead we got this amount. But they're releasing, like, let's have a look at what Warner Brothers are releasing on HBO Max in March.
I'm not being funny, but if HBO Max all of a sudden on March the 15th decided to come to the UK, would you sign up to HBO Max for a month?
Yes, of course I would. Yeah.
So would I. So
in March, they're releasing Zack Snyder's Justice League, and then obviously 2 weeks later, Godzilla vs Kong. So, and then that's where the weird line is drawn. How do you judge who's signing up for what?
Yeah.
And, you know, how do you know that if I sign up on March 20th, I'm signing up for to watch Justice League, or I'm signing up to watch Godzilla vs Kong? Which one was the film that brought me in? I might watch both of them, but which one was the one that got me in? So I don't know how they judge whether Zack Snyder was successful.
I guess it's all on views, isn't it? Right? It's got to be based on views.
Yeah, I guess it's on views and stuff. But then you got people watching it who might not necessarily have watched it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's so easily accessible.
Yeah.
How do you know, like, something like Godzilla vs Kong, that's going to get so many views, but the previous Godzilla film didn't do all that well.
Yeah,
but it's probably going to get more views there. So, I don't know, maybe Snyder will do more stuff after this, maybe he won't, but I don't know, I'm not overly sure. I think the DCEU has moved on from him.
Yeah.
They're kind of done, they're taking it in a new way, but then, like you say, there's loads of multiverses, so maybe they'll say, you know what, you just carry on with these films, we'll carry on with our Joker films or our Shazam films and go from there.
It's definitely a possibility, yeah.
Oh, well, but we'll see. But as I said, lights at the end of the tunnel, this saga will finally be over.
Yes, it is.
It will end. It's like COVID. I just want it to end.
It will end eventually, yeah.
Yeah, like they say about COVID, it will end eventually. Here's something I really want to talk about, because I really want to do a video on this, because I love these films. The Godzilla vs Kong trailer come out. What did you think?
Well, I watched it.
First question. Have you seen the previous 3 films, and are you a fan?
Okay, well, firstly, I didn't realise there was 3 of them. I watched Godzilla, the one with Bryan Cranston in.
When they made it out, it was going to be Heisenberg versus Godzilla.
Yes, and it didn't live up to my expectations, because I was really expecting Heisenberg versus Godzilla. And I've only seen it once. I saw it in the cinema, and I remember I really didn't enjoy it at all. But I know you like the film, so I should probably give it another watch. Never watched Kong Skull Island, and I didn't even know there was another. What's the other one?
Godzilla King of Monsters.
Okay. No, I didn't watch that.
He fights loads of monsters in that one.
No. I didn't watch that one either, no.
Okay, and then, alright, next question. And what did you think of the trailer for Godzilla vs Kong?
I thought it looked fucking awful.
You thought it looked really bad?
I thought it looked appalling. Like, I was genuinely not even going to finish the trailer, but I had to, because I knew you wanted to talk about it.
No, you've really upset me, because I was going to go on a mad rant about how much I love these films.
Go for it. I want to hear. I want to hear why you're so into them. Like,
I love these films. I love everything about them. I love every single one. The best one is probably the first Godzilla film. I love that film. I think it's... First watch, I wasn't overly keen. Second watch, because I understood the slow build and everything, you can respect it more. And I think that's so much better that the titular character, Godzilla, is barely in the film. Yeah. And you always see him from the perspective of other people, which I love. You see it from the perspective of the man on the ground. Like, you just see a giant foot, or you just see him through the glance of a door that he's actually taller than a skyscraper.
No, that's cool. That is really cool. Yeah.
And it is amazing. And then what I love, what they did with the films, that they did this slow build, said, this is what's coming. And then they just went... Basically, the big criticism of that film was there wasn't enough of him, which, was a little bit of a criticism of mine, even though I like that slow build. And then they just went, fuck it. And then the next film, Godzilla King of Monsters, it's just him basically the whole way through. And it's just basically all out action. And then that got criticised because the human characters weren't in it enough. But I don't care, because they're fun films. They're just all out action and entertainment. The Kong Skull Island's very good. It's very reminiscent of the King. You remember Peter Jackson's King Kong?
I love that film.
Yeah, it's actually very, very similar in like how it is a lot of creepy monsters and bugs about, which they have to fight off as well. It's supposed to be like Kong as an adolescent. Yeah, and I love these films. The Kong Skull Island film, yeah, it's him as an adolescent, and it's just about him and all these other monsters, and then Godzilla King of Monsters is just all out action where they just fight. God knows how many monsters he fights in that. There's loads of monsters.
So hold on, did Godzilla King of Monsters come out before the King Kong film?
No, it came after.
So Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of Monsters, and now this one.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, they I love everything about them, and I like that as it's continued, they've got crazier and crazier. Like the first one's very kind of built down in kind of reality and like how would the real world react. Yeah. And I like that instead of just keeping it in that real world base, they the world would change and the world would get more and more more and more crazy, and that is what's happening. In that, like, now you have a nuclear lizard fighting a giant gorilla. Yes. And that's what I love about what I love about the trailer is that it embraces all of that, like that craziness. It's just a fucking gorilla punching a big lizard.
I think with these films, because they're so out of reality, like, you're either in or you're not. There's no middle ground here, is there? You're either in or you're not in. Like,
definitely, yeah. You are either with it by now or you're not. But I love everything about them. It's kind of like Jurassic Park films. I love all the Jurassic Park films.
I love the first one, and I don't like any of the others.
I know that the others are bad. Like, I can accept that. I can accept they're bad. I know they're bad, but it doesn't matter to me because I like them. And it's the same with these. I know people have issues with them, and there are so many issues. But I just like giant monsters like punching each other.
Maybe I need to watch them. Maybe I need to like buy the box set and do a little like marathon or something.
Do you know, what I would say, this is maybe the most successful cinematic universe after the MCU. Fair. You've got the Annabelle like multiverse universe stuff.
Yeah, the Conjuring universe. Yeah.
Conjuring, cinematic universe. That's probably the next most successful, and then probably this. They've made 3 films. They've all done pretty well, except for the Godzilla King of Monsters. That didn't do fantastic. Okay. But I think this will be the last one in their MonsterVerse films. Okay. I think this is it for it, because it's going straight to streaming. Like you say, you can't measure how it does. Yeah. Can't measure how it does, and obviously the previous one didn't do all that well, so it's probably done. But like I say, these films are so crazy, they're so mental, and I adore that. And now they're just going, fuck it, let's just get a giant gorilla. He's got an axe.
I saw that. This is the thing, right? So I thought the trailer was awful. Like I said, I was not into it at all.
Why didn't you like it? I think that's an interesting thing.
It's too out there for me. It's on the realm of like just stupid, in my opinion. Like,
and I love that.
But then again, I haven't seen the other films, so I can't really comment. I can't really give my opinion on it because I haven't seen the others. But from just watching this trailer, it just seemed a bit too out there. I don't really want to watch a 2-hour movie of basically a crocodile fighting a monkey. Like, I don't, not really.
How dare you? He's not a crocodile. He is a lizard. And he absorbs nuclear energy.
Maybe I just haven't really got a thing for lizards. Like, I never liked the Amazing Spider-Man. I'm not really a lizard guy. But like, I tell you what, there was one shot in the trailer I thought was awesome, and that was when they were fighting in Tokyo. I thought that looked cool. That looked really cool. Yeah. All the contrasting lights, I thought that was awesome. I give them that. Yeah. And I'd like to see that fight.
That's see, the first 2 films, they do scale really well. Yeah. They really, like, I think the first one especially, because that's directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One.
Yeah.
And he did scale really well in that, and they really show it well. Like, you get a real understanding of how big Godzilla is, because the tendency for these kind of films is they change size throughout, and you can't get a real grasp on actually how big are these people.
Yeah.
Because I actually found that a little bit, going off topic, a bit in Infinity War, I couldn't get a grasp on how big Thanos was.
Yes. Yeah, I get that.
And I felt like he changed size a little bit. I felt, because he was the same size as the Hulk.
Yeah, they were pretty much like, yeah.
And then it seemed he got smaller. He didn't seem as large. That might just be me. But yeah, they do the scale really well. You understand his size. That was a big problem with the next Godzilla film, King of Monsters. The scaling got all wrong. You couldn't quite work out how big he was in comparison.
So how big are they supposed to be compared to, like, say, a skyscraper?
I think they said, I think I've read Godzilla is 310 feet.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Godzilla in feet. He is 300. He's 300 meters tall.
Okay, cool.
He got bigger in the next film. They keep getting bigger. That's the idea. So in Kong Skull Island, he's actually quite small. He's not that large. And in this, he's like essentially doubled in size. But they do, in Kong Skull Island, they do say he is getting bigger because he's an adolescent.
Okay, cool. So he's an adult now. He's a full-blown adult.
That's what Kong. They're saying. Yeah. And so that's why a lot of people question it, because now Godzilla. King Kong's like the size of Godzilla, because King Kong's never been as tall as a skyscraper.
Yeah.
He's never, because you know, obviously there's always those iconic scenes of him climbing up the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
He's like half the size, but now he is taller.
Interesting.
Skyscraper.
That's cool. Cool.
It's the tallest ever one we've had. So yeah, and I just think it's cool just watching these giant monsters fight. I mean, it sounds stupid, but one way of knowing if something is doing well marketing wise is the memes, and there's like, it's getting memed so much, so many, but it sounds stupid. That's a way to judge it, but it shows people are talking.
Yeah, it's popularity, isn't it? Yeah, popular.
Yeah, people are getting involved. Like, I say one of the most memed things is like Infinity War and Endgame and all the Marvel stuff.
Absolutely.
But it shows people are engaging.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, you've interested them. And all the memes are just on the same line, that it's this is mental.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, how
you've given me you've perked my interest. You've actually made me want to watch these films a little bit more. So you've done your job there, I tell you.
And I would say these films, they're the old school kind of popcorn flick films, like Independence Day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The story isn't that complicated.
Yeah.
You can shut off. You don't have to. Essentially, don't have to focus the whole time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just they're gonna fight, then they're gonna go off for a bit. There's gonna be some humans talk about some shit, then they're gonna fight again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Very simple.
And then like in this, it's like, yeah, you know, they'll say, let's give King Kong a weapon, and his axe is made from one of the dorsal fins of Godzilla, which is pretty cool in my opinion.
That is quite cool. I like that.
But yeah, they're the classic. They're the classic. You watch them on a big screen. They're effects heavy, and they're just, for me, they're just fun films that you can just sit, enjoy. You know, they're like I think they're family, like, you know, families with sort of, you know, 12-year-old to 15-year-old kids that you just go and watch these big Hollywood films.
Yeah, no, fair play.
A bygone era. So, all right. Well, that was my plan to convince you to actually watch this film. Will you watch it when it comes out?
I will watch the others first, and then I will not be paying full bob for this movie. Still, you haven't convinced me that much, but
yeah,
I'll watch the others, and I will get around to it 100%.
I think the one you'll enjoy the most is Kong Skull Island.
What, because of the similarities to the Peter Jackson one?
It's very similar. Yeah. The only thing that's different is, spoiler alert, that he doesn't go back with them.
He doesn't go back with them. Yeah. Okay.
It's got John C. Reilly in it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's set in the 1970s. It's got Tom Hiddleston.
Hasn't it got Samuel Jackson in it?
Got Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
It's
cast.
It's got a half decent cast. Yeah, it's got a decent cast. It's the plot's very thin, but Kong is great in it, and yeah, it's very similar.
Has he got Jack Black in it?
I wish. It's got John Goodman, so a different fat man.
Fair play.
All right, well, let's talk about the main thing then. let's talk about WandaVision episode 4.
Cool.
I can't remember the name of it. Let's just say it was episode 4. We haven't even really spoken about episode 3, if I can actually remember what happened in episode 3.
Okay.
We'll tell me what you thought of the last 2 episodes. Really, I think it's better to talk them in 2 episode chunks.
I'm enjoying them. I really am enjoying them. I just wish that they would have released them all in one bulk, because I'm getting a bit fed up with this whole week waiting game. I feel like the episodes the episodes are way too short for this weekly release. It's not doing it for me.
Yeah, the episodes are short, which is a little bit frustrating. I think they'll get longer.
Yeah.
I think they will get longer because I don't think they'll keep this sitcom stuff up.
Yeah. Well, they came out of it this episode, didn't they, really? So,
yeah, they came out with it pretty much completely.
Yeah.
So I think they will give up on the sitcom base. It's which one's been your favourite episode then of all 4 currently?
Such a tough question. I think as a whole, I probably like the last episode the best, but I think the last 10 minutes of episode 3 were probably the best we've seen. I think the last 10 minutes of the 3rd episode were awesome.
Yeah, that was very. Yeah, that was obviously she brings up Ultron, someone we haven't heard of in God knows how long, and cool. Yeah, that was very cool. So what do you think is happening then? Go on, give me. I want to hear your theories.
Well, I still stand by my theory originally of what I said about how I really reckon that Mephisto is at play here. He's playing a larger game here. I reckon that she is in control, but I also think that someone is essentially the puppet master and is also in control of her. I don't think she has complete control. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think how it all turned out is I think she has had some sort of breakdown. She's in control, obviously, of everything going on, but she does have moments where she doesn't know what's kind of happening.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of the residents you find have moments of tranquility.
Yeah.
Where they're like, you know, when they were talking about Monica, being like, yeah, she comes from nowhere, be careful of her. And they're like, oh, we can't talk about it. But then there are moments when they're back in, like, their sitcom mode. So I think it's, like, every now and again they kind of realise where they are, then they don't. And I think it'll be, like, a bigger character like Mephisto who has sort of got in her head because she's, you know, obviously mourning. I made a point, like, if you think, like, since the snap was undone, everyone got their loved ones back. Except one person, like Wanda got no one, so she's still. So that must have been hard for her. That like obviously all around her.
I don't think she's had her breakdown yet. I think her breakdown's to come.
I think she's in the breakdown, and Mephisto has then like taken advantage of that. There will obviously be someone more at large.
Yeah, I think she's vulnerable. I think she's obviously vulnerable with regards to her brother's dead. Vision's dead. I think she's vulnerable, and I think that's why I think this greater being has control over her. But I think her children will be taken away from her, possibly into another dimension, and then I think her breakdown will happen. And I now also believe that she may be one of the bigger villains in the Doctor Strange film. I think
you think she's going to be a villain now?
I think she could be a villain. I've changed my tune a little bit over the past 2 weeks. I think that I think her kids are going to be taken away from her without a shadow of a doubt. And I think that when that happens, that will lead to the ultimate breakdown of her. And it will cause everything to just go into shit. And I reckon that will then play into Multiverse of Madness. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Here's a question for you then.
Go on.
Is Vision alive?
No.
What did you think when she looked back and it was her corpse?
So
it was his corpse.
I thought that was fucking awesome. I loved that. Didn't you think that was so cool?
That was horrifying.
It's creepy, wasn't it? How creepy was that?
Yeah, that really it caught me off guard, and it was horrifying. I'll have nightmares about that, but it was brilliant.
I think she. All right, this is quite hard for me to explain. I reckon that obviously with Rambeau, Monica Rambeau, that's her name, right?
Yeah. So she's Yeah. So Maria's the mum.
So
Monica Rambeau was in Captain Marvel, wasn't she?
Yeah. So
like as a kid.
Yes. So I think when she mentioned Ultron, that started to basically allow her to remember the real reality, the real world. I think that was like the first point of like her starting to remember the real, like, you know, she started...
See, that's what I mean. Like, how are these people the whole way through? She didn't know who she was, and then suddenly she had a moment of tranquility and was able to sign it. Sorry, but carry on.
No, I just think that was her like remembering the real world, and then her then seeing Vision is just reiterating the fact that name Ultron has now made her remember actually what is going on in real reality.
And then she's got to bring back the illusion.
Yes,
and go from there.
Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly what I think.
That's why I think she's in her breakdown. She's trying not to remember things.
Yeah.
Then she had that moment of when she's gone, oh yeah, I remember, he's actually dead. See, I think also she may have created another Vision.
Okay.
That's kind of like naive and under her control.
Yes.
Because he's like, oh yeah, she made me, so I best just listen to her. Because he has a moment when he's like, you know, Wanda, we could leave, and she's like, nah, don't do that.
Yeah.
And then he like has a really like glum face on him, like a really concerned face. Then he sort of like pops out of it and he just puts a big smile on.
Yes.
And I thought that was weird because I was like, that's really like robotic, kind of how he's done that.
Absolutely.
And he's just like carried on.
Absolutely. I totally echo that. And I wrote this down because this is basically what I was trying to explain before, but I can't really articulate it. So I wrote it down and I was like, basically what I think. So I think this whole town is essentially under this spell, if you will, this whole, this spell. And I think that Wanda is also under this spell, but she can do what she wants and she can manipulate things as she wants as long as it doesn't affect, like, the greater powers that be. So I think someone is in control of her and they are trying to get something out of her, I think the kids. And she can do as she wants and manipulate things as long as it doesn't affect the greater plan, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think to be on something there. It's interesting. So, like at the start of the episode, obviously they're at Westview. They got the police officers.
Yep. They've
never heard of Westview. They say they're from Eastview.
Yeah.
When they drive away, where did they go?
God knows.
But they drove back into the town.
I didn't even know.
And then
I haven't paid attention to that.
Then Monica Rambeau walked towards the town, ended up in the multiverse. So is there someone at play that's keeping certain people in the town, not in the sitcom? If you see what I mean.
It's a good point.
To keep things moving along, because they obviously drove out of the town, met Jimmy Woo. Then had their yeah, he's fantastic.
I love the card trick, man. It's cool, isn't it?
I thought I was really smart when I realised the card trick. He learnt that from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And then I went on Twitter and I realised everyone realised that. But yeah, he learnt it. Because I watched Ant-Man the Wasp quite recently, and he says to him, "How did you do it?" And he's like, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "No, the card trick. How did you do the card trick?" And then he's been practicing.
Yeah. It's so cool. I love that. Hate the film with passion, but I love that little callback.
Yeah, but so they obviously they come out of the town, meet Jimmy Woo, have a chat with him, then go back into the town. So where are they going?
That's a good point.
Yeah, there's something more at play. I mean, I think there's only a select few in the town that are in the sitcom trapped, and then the rest of the town is carrying on oblivious.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk about Jimmy Woo. What do you think of Jimmy Woo in this episode?
Yeah, he's cool. I mean, there's not really much to say. I just think it's cool to have him back. He's obviously a great character. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I thought his comedic timing and stuff was awesome in the film.
He is, despite being like, because they got him and Darcy together, and everyone's like, "Oh, what a great pairing!" And it's very reminiscent of like For the Dark World, where everyone was comedic relief.
Yes.
You had Darcy, then she had someone, then like. You had the Stellan Skarsgård, I can't forget his character's name. Like, everyone was comedy relief, like everyone was silly, and I feel like that's kind of the same thing. But he is so good. He is really funny. He's got such good comedic relief. Like, even a joke like when they're watching the sitcom and Wanda's had her kids and Darcy says, "Would you want one?" He's like, "Oh, kids, yeah, I've always thought about that. A little Jimmy Woo, whatever, a little FBI code." Yeah. That's not a funny joke. Like, I knew what she meant, but I still laughed because I thought you've sold that.
Yeah,
like, that
absolutely.
joke is. and I think he's done loads. He's done a very good film. Oh God, I think he wrote it, but it has Keanu Reeves in it. Let me search for it. I've watched it on Netflix. It's something you should give a watch.
Okay, cool.
It's bear with me as I Google this and ruin the whole flow of everything. Always Be My Maybe.
Okay.
He wrote it and produced it. That's it's like two people. They've been childhood friends. And they've always kind of like had feelings for one another. Then they sort of reunite, but then they like it just goes from there. It's like a classic rom-com, but there's a very good scene which you'll enjoy. She brings her date to a restaurant they're in. It's Keanu Reeves playing himself.
Oh, really?
He's like Keanu Reeves, really funny. He's really funny. It is very good. It's got great reviews and it's on Netflix. But I enjoyed him. I thought. Kat Dennings, Darcy Lewis was good as well.
Yeah, she was cool.
Oh, well, what I liked about them, what I had a lot of time for, is they felt like the audience was actually they were like us in there because they were asking the questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was asking, and I was like, fair play that they took the time to go. If I was watching this, what questions would I ask? Like he's got his whiteboard saying like, is Vision dead? Why sitcoms? Why jumping to each decade? Like why?
I'll ask you a few things which I really picked up on my whiteboard, which I thought was really, really cool. So obviously they've obviously figured out that some of the people in there are people from obviously the real world, and they have their names and details underneath the pictures and stuff, but there are obviously some people that they haven't found. So for example, Agatha, no word on her, which obviously reiterates the point that she could be. There's Agatha Harkness, the witch in the comics and stuff, which is looking very, very, very probable now. More than likely, that's who she is. They didn't have anything for the woman from the first episode. You know, when her husband's passed out on the floor and is choking. Sorry.
They mention her, don't they?
They didn't say her name. They didn't have a character for a woman for her. I don't think. I think they mention her.
Oh, right.
They mention her, but they don't have a person from the outside world as her, if that makes any sense. And another question on the whiteboard, which I thought was really interesting, was why hexagons?
Yeah.
You're seeing this hexagonal shape all the time appear. It appeared in the opening part of episode 3. Obviously, the shape of the realm is also hexagonal. And in the sitcom, everything comes up as hexagons. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I don't. There'll be like some sort of symbol when.
I have theories.
Go on.
I have theories.
I love your theories.
So obviously you've got the shape, the force field is hexagonal. You've got the shapes hexagonal. So there's a few things which are going around the internet at the moment. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, so obviously the obvious one, which is just very, very obvious, is just the fact that obviously Wanda is a witch and has essentially cast a hex. So it's just a little thing of just hexagon because she's cast a hex spell sort of thing. Okay, so that's obvious one. Another one I thought was really, really cool was the idea of the whole Mephisto situation. And obviously a hexagon has 6 sides, as in 666. So it could be another little throwback to that, which is cool. One which I find really, really interesting is the fact that the AIM logo is also a hexagon.
Oh, yeah, true.
And I think that could be playing a part. And I think that AIM and Hydra may now, in this now may be one. They now might be one together, AIM and Hydra.
Yeah, they always like to try and bring Hydra back in any way they can.
Yeah, and I think AIM might be a subdivision of Hydra now. I think that could be a possibility as well.
That's a subdivision, what their corporate structure.
No,
they're talking to their shareholders about.
I really do. I really think AIM could be involved in here, and that obviously sets.
I think they will be.
Yeah. Wasn't AIM introduced in Iron Man 2, or have I completely made that up? Weren't they like referred to it?
Iron Man 2, or let's have a look. AIM.
I'm pretty sure
MCU.
AIM have been mentioned in the MCU.
I think you're right. Iron Man 3. They're introduced in.
Okay, cool.
What are they doing in Iron Man 3?
I think they may have just been referred to. I think someone might have just mentioned them just spoken about them.
No. This iteration is a government-sanctioned, privately funded think tank founded by Aldrich Killian.
Okay.
And they're the ones who made Extremis. Who cares?
Okay. So, I mean, that obviously sets up the way in the future of the MCU. If AIM are involved, obviously, that will bring MODOK in at some point.
That's interesting. They've brought them back 8 years on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're bringing back the Mandarin as well, aren't they? There's still stuff there.
Well, Trevor Slattery's coming back.
Trevor Slater is not coming back, I'm afraid. This is the real Mandarin here. We're not fucking about with him anymore.
Could you imagine if at the end of Shang-Chi, it's then revealed Trevor Slattery was someone? But I love that. I'd have a little tiger.
I could not cope anymore if they did that. Imagine.
I'd be so happy. I'd have a right.
I could not deal with that anymore either. Iron Man 3 still. Nah. I don't want to talk about Iron Man 3. I actually had one more point I wanted to talk to you about.
Go for it.
Which I thought was really interesting. So basically, it's just going back to the whole idea of that. Obviously, it looks as though she's in control, and you see her in control. But how I really do believe that someone is essentially pulling the strings.
Definitely is.
And it's with regards to when she went into labour and she had no control over what was going on because all the room was going mental. And then you had that what's it called? What's the thing? What's the thing they say that the stalk?
Oh right, yeah.
She couldn't get rid of the stalk. The stalk was there, and obviously, the story they tell the kids is about how the stalk delivers the babies. So once again, it's another reference to the whole baby situation. So, and when she couldn't get rid of it, the red mist kept appearing. So once again, that could be implying Mephisto is at play here.
Yeah, I think it is Mephisto. When that happened, I thought this is Mephisto. Why can't she get rid of this stalk?
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing to not be able to get rid of.
Exactly. Of all things, the stalk, the relation to the baby. But then, obviously, another theory people were throwing out there was the idea that it could be one of her kids at play. Because obviously, in one of the comic runs, she has twins as well. And one's called Wiccan, one's called Speed. So one essentially has the power of Wanda, and the other one has the powers of Quicksilver. So it could be the one which has the power of Wanda doing all the stuff inside of her, or alternatively, it could be Mephisto, which I think is probably the more logical explanation.
Why were the children not purple like Vision as well, though?
Because they're not Vision's kids.
Ah, good point. Good point.
They're the shards of Mephisto, I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah. Well, it was episode 4 was definitely a good episode. I like that they were able to answer some questions, but then ask questions. You know what I mean? They didn't give everything. I know what you mean. Is in you're getting annoyed by it's weekly and they're shorter. I'm starting to feel like that, but at least. I think they've split it up into 3 parts. So, first 3 episodes, Act 1, establishing the mystery. Episodes 4 to 6 is revealing kind of what's going on, but you need to reveal kind of what these characters have to lose and gain, and what's at stake. And then the last 3, I think you'll see it mostly out of the sitcom, and it will just be more like batshit crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
And it'll be like a film. Do you know what I mean? Be just like a Marvel film.
Yeah.
Going from there.
100%. I actually have one more thing I want to speak to you about. Actually,
another thing.
Yeah, it's another theory which I keep seeing thrown around online, which I think is another really, really interesting theory. And I think actually, I think someone might have replied to your tweet, or maybe it was a Comics in Motion tweet or something. But it was about in the opening credits seeing the Grim Reaper.
Yes, the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, okay.
He is in between the floorboards.
Exactly. So I thought that was really cool, but then I thought nothing of it really. But then in episode 3, I was watching this video and they zoom in on Agatha's necklace she's wearing, and it looks very, very reminiscent of a Grim Reaper on her necklace.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's definitely there's going to be a lot of things at play, and I think Grim Reaper is somewhere where we'll come into it. Mephisto definitely will be. I don't know enough about the Grim Reaper.
No, neither do I. I can't. I know nothing about the Grim Reaper.
But he is gonna. He will play some part of it. I think. My theory is she's had a breakdown. Set this up. Mephisto's in her ear, like pulling more strings. Vision is dead, or she has created a new one.
Yep.
But he's not as good. Do you know what I mean? He's very attached to Wanda because obviously she's resurrected him, and I think a few more episodes will be done on the sitcom, and then we're through. One thing I did have, in just a little theory.
Go on.
What happens when the sitcom stops? The show stops, because they're watching the show. Do you know what I mean? So Darcy and Jimmy are sitting there watching the show. Then the credits roll. Then what happens?
Yes.
What's going on after the credits roll? And the reason I think someone is behind it is because they say someone is censoring the broadcast.
Yes, absolutely.
Because obviously we saw it all as it was, like the little bits that were a bit weird.
Yeah.
But that's not happening in the show. It's just like cutting out, so someone's censoring it. So what's happening?
Very cool.
Just my little thoughts. Yeah.
Nice, cool.
Something must be happening after the show broadcasts.
This is why I'm getting so irritated, because I feel like every episode, all we have are more questions.
But I like that. It's building it up. It's building up.
No, of course it is, but it's
talking.
pissing me off, man. The episodes are too short, and we shouldn't have to wait a week for these anymore. The Mandalorian never left you with this much of a cliffhanger where I needed to know what was happening next week. With Mandalorian, I was just like, that was really cool. I can't wait for next week because it's going to be so cool. But I'm left with too many questions, and I hate this. I hate this.
But I think what you find though is Mandalorian is a bigger, larger story. This is very niche. This will be the only ever series of this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So much more contained. Yeah. So there's more information on the screen, whilst Mandalorian can very much spread it out. Okay, well, I think that's kind of everything we have on WandaVision. Do you want to just do a quick conversation on what you've read or watched in your time?
I am 4 episodes into Watchmen.
Ah, yes. How are you finding Watchmen? I love
that
it. Show.
I love it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
very heavy topics.
Very, very heavy, but I haven't seen a show like this in a long time where I feel the need to. If I had the time, I would binge the shit out of this. An episode finishes and I'm like, oh my god, I need to watch the second episode. Like, it's been
about an hour long, aren't they?
Yeah, they're about an hour long. Yeah. But it's I think it's fantastic. I think it's so good.
I watched it. I must have watched it about 6 or so months ago now, maybe about 5 months ago. And I loved it. It was very, very heavy topics, very heavy watching. But once, I know what you mean, you binge up. But I think you'll find you have 2 or 3 episodes left and you'll just watch them all back to back. I think I watched the last 2 or 3 pretty much all in one sitting.
Wicked.
They were fantastic. And do you know what? So you're 4 episodes in. I'm just trying to think where you're at. I don't want to spoil anything for you because there's so many reveals.
I've just been introduced to that billionaire, the billionaire that's come in, the Asian
lady. Yeah. So there's some big reveals to happen. Like there's so many twists and turns, but I thought how creative it was that it just carried on the story instead of just going back to it. They do kind of go back a little bit to it, just kind of like fill in some blanks, but they never really touched the Watchmen comic. They never really get much into that.
Yeah.
What's happening with old Jeremy Irons?
So it's so obviously, like, we now know that he is. I don't actually know if we know this, but I'm pretty sure he's obviously Ozymandias, isn't he? Like,
yes, he's Ozymandias. Yeah, I mean, I knew that at the start because he'd already been cast. Yeah. What made me laugh is he does a letter, doesn't it? And he goes, signed Ozymandias. And I thought, if you don't know the comics, how the fuck would you know that is?
It's so true. That's a very good point. And obviously, we know that the Asian trillionaire actually, she's obviously she really looks up to him and stuff. She has the statue of him in the we know that as well. So they're obviously in cahoots. And obviously, the whole thing with him is I don't know exactly what's going on with this whole cloning thing he's doing at the moment, where he's got the same people doing all the stuff, and he obviously put on the production of how Doc.
Oh, you've seen the production?
Awesome. Yeah. How Doc's Manhattan became Doc's Manhattan. I thought it was awesome. Yeah, mate, I'm so into it. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Yeah. you're gonna be in. Yeah, the amount of twists and turns you got. So is it just finished his production? Is that all?
No. The production happened a few episodes ago, and you now see how he actually, how he makes them and how he got them out of the water, out on the river.
Oh, he gets them out. Yeah.
And you see that how he does that. That's pretty much as far as we've got at the moment with that. Nothing else really happened with that yet.
I think how it builds upon the Watchmen comic is fantastic, and I love it. I love it as a show, and I think it's so creative, and you'll really enjoy it.
Well, when I next see you, I mean, if I've done 4 episodes this week, I would have probably finished it. So
it was about 8 episodes.
I think it's 8. So if I do, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, well, next to my speech.
It is weird. These next 4 is where it ramps up a lot. Like they really you're talking about sort of everything that's happened. Obviously, I know what happens in the next 4. There's so much you haven't seen, which makes you realise, my God, they get going these next 4.
Cool.
Like they really, they have. You've seen, Dr. Manhattan's on Mars, isn't it? They've also,
that's pretty much as they've referred to him, though. There's not really anything else with him in yet, but we just obviously know that he's on Mars, and that's pretty much it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the focus of it. They're focusing on, obviously. What do you think? I want to hear your thoughts. Obviously, the police captain dies first episode.
Say that again. With the whole KKK thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
What do you think's happening to him? What do you think?
I honestly, I can't. I honestly, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I, as everything is in play at the moment, I genuinely think that he is actually one of the supremacist sort of people.
Yeah, what they called? I know they're like the Rorschach gang.
Yeah, they're the Rorschach, but I don't know what their actual name is. But
a lot of people were angry about that because they were like, "Yeah, Rorschach, he's not a racist and all this." Rorschach's a dick.
Yeah.
In the comics, he is a racist. That's like his whole thing. And Damon Lindelof, who wrote it, he was saying like, Rorschach was a bad bloke.
Yeah.
And even Alan Moore says that he hates people worshipping Rorschach. He was like, no, he's a dick.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't like him. But like what Damon Lindelof said is like, I'm not saying he was out and out a white supremacist. He was a little bit racist, and a bit homophobic and all this. But he can't defend his writings. He can't come out and say anything.
Yeah.
So people were just interpreting how they wish, and that's the problem I'm trying to say. I'm not saying he was this, because people are saying like, how dare they say that about this great character? Because people look at him like Batman now, but he's not. He's like Batman if he was literally the worst bloke.
he is Ben Affleck's Batman in BVS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's like if Batman was a murderer. So if Batman was in Batman vs Superman.
But no, I'm really enjoying it. I haven't watched a show like this in a long time where I've been really glued to it.
Yeah. Good. All right. Well, things I've been watching. I've been trying to be getting into my single player video games. So I finished Jedi Fallen Order.
How was it?
It started off pretty bad. The story was not engaging at all. But the last third was the best part. Where they actually
spoiler alert, the ending is Order 66, isn't it?
Of Fallen Order? Yeah. No.
Is it not?
Fallen Order's after.
Oh, is it?
Fallen Order's between New Hope. Between Revenge of Sith and New Hope.
What game is it where the ending is Order 66?
Good point.
There is a game, isn't it? There is definitely a game.
There is. Yeah. No, Fallen Order is you're a Jedi. Well, you was a Padawan. Order 66 happened. He's been hiding out, and now he's like, you know what? I'm going to do some Jedi business again. Cool. And then he just cracks on with it all. And then that's kind of it. And it's like his master saved him but died, so he's feeling that guilt. The last third is very good, but the rest of it is just okay. The mechanics are decent. The story's not engaging enough, but the last bit is good. Darth Vader shows up. That was fun.
Cool. That's wicked.
And then, but that's what I thought. I've played this game for sort of 6-7 hours, and I've only really started enjoying it for the last hour, which is just a massive shame. Yeah. So it's a step in the right direction for their single player games, but they should just be better. I don't see a step in the right direction as something good. And I've just started playing Ghost of Tsushima.
How is that?
I've only played it for about an hour, so I've only gone through the first mission, but it is fucking beautiful.
So I don't really know the ins and outs of it. What's it all about?
you're in like the 12th century Japan as a samurai. You're fighting the Mongolians. You're fighting a descendant of Genghis Khan, and it's gorgeous. I haven't played enough to really judge the gameplay, but the mechanics are decent enough. It's an open world game.
Wicked.
It's like Red Dead Redemption, but in Japan.
Oh wow, awesome.
Basically, yeah. So you ride around your horse, got your sword, go ride around this huge map of Japan.
Is it a new game?
Yeah, it came out last year.
Oh, cool. I might have to give that a little go.
It's beautiful, yeah. So my new thing is I go on eBay now, buy the games, finish it all, put them back on eBay, get my money back. So I bought it for 30 quid. Right now, I'm enjoying it. So yeah.
I can never hear anyone say Mongolians and not think of that South Park episode. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
I love it. Just with the guy who owns Shitty Wok. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I can never ever hear whenever anyone says Mongolian, it just reminds me of that fucking South Park so much. Like, I love it. I love it so much.
All right, well, we'll end the episode there. So you can follow me Jasper Reviews, the podcast account at What's the Topic Pod, and Luke at Luke Fiarca. So that is the episode. Thank you very much. Goodbye.